Happy Saturday, Evensong. It's so great to see all of you today. I hope that you've had the most amazing week. Sometimes I wish that you all could see the outtakes of this and hear the children yelling and cheering and saying all sorts of things out the window, but we save you from that, so you're welcome. I know that so many of you have had really big weeks, whether you are trying to make decisions for school or figuring out what's going on with work right now. And so many of you are moving to like smaller houses or bigger houses, and so there's so much going on. Just know that you are loved and cared for, and we are cheering for you every step of the way. I have a couple things that are happening that I'm really excited about here, to write them down so I don't forget. First, Blessing of the Backpacks is next weekend. So on Sunday, we will be gathering together to bless our kiddos and our educators, and we will have our back to school backpack tags, and we hope that you will come through the drive-through line at St. Andrew and come say hi to us so that we can bless your school year. We know that this school year looks so different right now, and we want to provide a little bit of consistency with our Blessing of the Backpack. So you can find more on our Facebook page or our website, gostandrew.com, so that we can tell you all the details, and we look forward to seeing all of your faces. We are in the middle of standing up a safe outdoor space, and we've been talking about it for so many weeks, so it's really exciting that it's coming together. And what that means is that we're going to need your help providing meals, and so we are going to provide warm dinners a couple days a week down there. And if you are interested in cooking for 50 to 60 people, we would love for you to be a part of that. You are welcome to either drop the food off and leave, or you can stay and help serve it. There will be temperature checks and masks and so many other things to keep you safe and to keep our people living in that safe space safe. But you can go to gostandrew.com/resurrect to sign up for meal service there, and we are just really excited to get this off the ground and provide services for people that are experiencing homelessness. Also, if you are an educator or student, I would love for you to let me know so that we can be praying for you by name over the next couple weeks. And parents, we are praying for you too. It's a tricky time. Here is the question this week. My movie screen's attacking me. I'm really sorry. How are you shown love this week? Where in your life were you shown love? My sweet little 7-year-old is, he's a tough cookie to crack, but when you crack him, he loves you so well. And so his favorite thing is in the morning before anyone wakes up, coming in and sitting with me and snuggling up. And this week he had a really hard day on Monday night. I said, hey buddy, tell me what I could have done better today. How could I have been a better mom today? How could I have helped you better? What can we do better tomorrow together? And that's a really hard question to ask, because sometimes it sets you up for failure because their honesty is so brilliant, but it doesn't mean it doesn't sting. And he looked at me and he said, Mama, you were just right. You loved me even when I was angry and yelling, and even when I slammed the door. And he said, the only thing that you can do better tomorrow is snug me longer. And so the grace in that and the gift of that is that he recognized how much I love him. And that was what I needed that day, because I felt like everything was a mess and nothing that I was doing was right. And so that was how I was shown love this week, is through his grace and through his love. And he's such a sweet kid, so I'm so thankful for that. So I would love for you to go over to the chat and share with us how you were shown love this week. I shared in the email that we are talking about just loving our neighbor. How do we love our neighbor better? How do we love ourselves better? And I shared this quote from Father Boyle, and it says, there's no force in the world better able to alter anything from its course than love. And I'm going to read that again because I saw it on the sidewalk and it just felt really perfect. There is no force in the world better able to alter anything from its course than love. Like, how beautiful is that? I'm going to tell you this story about Mike. He is this really old man. He's 82, and he was living alone. He had a hard time walking, hard time moving. His wife had just died, and so he had caregivers in and out throughout the day to check on him, and he would move from his couch to the porch, and that was pretty much it. He struggled to get his food into his mouth. Everything was very slow, but he would sit and he would watch from his porch. And this woman named May and her son, who was 4, walked by every day, and they would smile and say hi. And he would just look down or be grumpy. And May said, every time we passed it, I just felt, I knew that we had to say hi. I knew that I wanted to say hi. And my sweet little kiddo would wave and wave and wave, and then be sad when he didn't get a wave back. And she said he was just so grumpy, so grumpy. And so one day we were walking by, and my son ran up to the porch and gave him this huge hug. And you watched his whole body rest. This old man's body just relaxed, and he broke a smile. And they started talking, and May got his story. And every day after that, they would show up and they would sit on the porch, and they would get his walker out and help him walk from the corner to the driveway very slowly. And she said my son would say, "Let's race," and he would do his best to keep up with this little 4-year-old. And as the nurses would come and go each day, no one knew, but Mike was telling them, go find this car, it's down in the basement, or go find this trinket, or go find this. So every day he had something to present this little boy as a gift and as a way to say thank you. And over time, over the next couple months, they spent a little bit of time every day together, and slowly he got weaker and weaker, and he got more quiet, and then he was unable to move. And the caregiver said to May, he just doesn't have that much more time. And you've made it so special by showing up. He wouldn't talk to us. He would just sit in grief until you all showed up. And so May thought back to when her son just barged onto the porch and forced this man to hug him, and the lessons that taught her in compassion and in showing up and offering help and continuing to show up every single day, even when people are grumpy, even when people are broken, because she had no idea the grief that he was feeling about his wife, or the pain that he was in every single day, until her son forced it upon them both. When the sweet old man died, May said the caregiver came out and said to them, "You all made his final months so holy and so special. He was ready to give up until you showed up, and until you showed up every single day and reminded him that his life mattered and that his trinkets mattered, and you hugged him and you loved him no matter what. Even when he was grumpy, you helped him walk when he never thought that he would walk again. So thank you for doing that." That story is so beautiful, and we have a sweet old man that we pass on the corner every day and wave to, and it just reminds me that sometimes there's just bigger stuff. There's bigger stuff in all of our lives, right? And I think that when we feel pressure, we react, and it's not always in ways that are loving and kind, and we have to be better. I know that everyone's feeling really big right now with pandemics and school and work and job loss and evictions and racism and so many other things, but we have to find and remember that we belong to each other, and we have to be compassionate for others and for ourselves. What I loved about the last couple of weeks with Kendall and Natalie is that they have talked about how to ground ourselves. They have talked about how our mistakes don't define us, and I think that how we love and how we show up in the world is a big part of how we love ourselves. How well you love yourself is going to reflect in how you love the world. So here are the questions I have. What if we could see others' pain more clearly? What if before we reacted, before we were frustrated, before we were angry, what if we thought about what they may be going through or what they may be feeling? What if we could practice compassion for others and ourselves equally? It's not one or the other, it's both. And so how do we get to a place where we can do that? And that's so hard, and I know that, and I get that. But if we can be compassionate for ourselves and we can be compassionate for others, the world suddenly feels easier and more peaceful and more kind, right? We don't know the impact, just like May didn't, on somebody else when we love them well and we show up. We don't know the impact on ourselves when we show up for ourselves too. And that starts with boundaries. That starts with self-love and positive self-talk and silencing the inner voices that tell us that we're not good enough. It starts with meditation and grounding, right? If we can love ourselves well, then we reflect love out well. Our job is to love our pocket of the world so well that nobody knows the difference, right? Nobody knows or lacks love because we are loving it and gifting it so well. So here are my like final thoughts on this, right? God calls us to love. God calls us to love our neighbors. God calls us to love ourselves. God calls us to show up for the people that we don't even know yet. He calls us to show up for the people next door or across the street, or that are unsheltered, or that no longer have a voice. And we can use our voices and we can use our love to make their worlds a little bit better. God is calling us to that. It is biblical. Here's the takeaway, and I don't have 3 for you, but you are love and you can give love. So go be love. Go be love this week. Go be love this day, today. We will not always get it right, but we can try. And you are so great at doing that. So go be love this week. You are loved, you are important, and you matter. And I hope that you never forget that. Happy Saturday, friends.
You can hold my hand when you need to let go. I can be your man.